This is my 2023 Ford Maverick XL.
The MSRP was $24,600.
This is my 2024 Ford Maverick Lariat.
And the MSRP on this is $38,000.
You got 12 grand. Name the first car that you're gonna buy. I would say probably a clapped out C5 Corvette. Maybe something, I don't know, like a BMW 335, something like that. It'd be kind of a fun car for 12 grand. 12 grand is a good chunk of change. You can get yourself a pretty solid car. And there is a $12,000 price cap. There is a clapped out C5 Corvette ownership between owning these two vehicles. Is it worth an additional $12,000 to have practically the exact same car? I own both of them, I bought both of them, and let's find out. Before we get into the video, you guys need to go down, hit subscribe, hit like, because in the near future, we have an overland adventure coming on this Maverick Lariat. Rough Country has sent us a lift kit. MRT has sent us a full exhaust. We have another company that sent us a bed rack. I bought some wheels, trying to get some tires. This is going to be a full-on outfitted overland Maverick that we're going to take on an extreme off-road adventure. I made this one my own version of a Maverick ST, so don't be confused by the big wheels. That was all me. There's some aftermarket done to this Maverick, but this is the #1 Maverick channel in all of YouTube. Be sure to hit like, hit subscribe. Lots of stuff is coming. Take it away.
That is one of the items you should be taking out of the video and some of the content that could be of value to you. A street version or a version of a Maverick that has a little more capability when it comes to owning a truck. One other big takeaway by the end of this video that you will have is I previously stated in one of our other Maverick videos that an XL was the best, the smartest, the wisest trim that you could buy in a Maverick. So at the end of the video, do I still feel that way? Let's find out.
Before we start comparing apples to oranges here, we need to talk about the price one more time. Like I said, this is a 2023 Maverick XL. To order this exact same vehicle, exact same spec, right now is an additional $2,000 than this one was. So it is $28,050 to own this exact Maverick.
Okay.
So to own a 2024 in a direct comparison to this one, if you were to purchase them new, is a $10,000 price gap, not a $12,000 price gap like the actual MSRP on these two vehicles. But in 2023 and 2024, there really is not many differences. There's a few things we're going to talk about when we move on to the Lariat that they changed, but overall, let's do pretty much a direct comparison on what you're going to purchase new to new right now and options on these two vehicles. So let's hop inside of them, talk about the outside of them, and see if it's worth that money.
Like Austin said, we're really going to get into these Mavericks literally from bottom to top, and that's where we will begin talking about putting these up on our lift.
Yeah.
Both the XL and the FX4 Maverick, we put them up, and I'm gonna be honest, like, I was expecting to see some more dramatic differences. You know, you start talking about that $10,000 price gap, and you want to see something dramatic. And obviously, there's a few takeaways that you don't have to dig into here. The FX4 trim has some actual skid plate material. I don't know that I'd go running into any rocks with it, but it's definitely more protection.
Substantially more protection than just the felt pad that we get here on the XL. Definitely a little bit more off-road like, had a little bit more capability in that sense. But other than that, the underside of this thing, I'm not gonna lie, I was slightly disappointed with looking between the two of these. Now, before this hybrid, I actually owned an all-wheel drive, and the overall underside of my all-wheel drive was pretty much identical to my Lariat FX4. I did not see any additional sound deadening. I did not see any additional or change in the suspension components. Yes, of course, in the FX4 trim, we do have some upgraded shocks front and rear. However, beyond that, I didn't see anything that was truly astonishing and kind of changing that $10,000 price point.
You are forgetting the biggest change though, however, and that is in the rear passenger side.
That's true.
You can see the underside cubby, the storage bin.
Yeah, we do have an underside storage bin, and another thing that's kind of cool, on my XL here, we do have a spare tire, but it is a dummy, and here on my FX4, it is a full-size spare. However, on the XL, a full-size spare, I do believe, is a $100 factory option.
Woo. Moving on from the underside of the Maverick, let's talk about the exterior so we can really understand that $10,000 difference that you get when it comes to cosmetics and appearances on the XL versus the Lariat. And what do we have? Not a lot. So it's very basic. We have different grills. We have some different headlights with some different technology upgrades there. Obviously, you have some of the safety sense stuff that you see. We have a different lower valance because we have exposed tow hooks on the Lariat FX4, and you'll notice some simple things on the back like some parking sensors, but ultimately Everything that you see on the exterior of the Maverick that is different between the Lariat and the XL has to do with technology. We could talk about the mirrors, we could talk about the door handles, but ultimately that comes to talking points on the interior. And I think the biggest difference is, and Austin will take that away right now.
Let's do it. Now, as we talk about interior of the XL and the Lariat, we got both doors open here, so let's just go ahead and hop inside of these things. Now, there's some things on the interior of the XL that it's just like, holy cow, I can't believe you guys didn't put this in this car, being a 2024 vehicle, and it's just ridiculous. For example, power mirrors standard. For example, in the earlier models, cruise control standard. But then they also outdid themselves in some other senses, where we have this fantastic infotainment system, which you just plug in your phone, you got Android Auto, you got Apple CarPlay, you have this amazing cargo management system, these super comfortable cloth seats, storage literally everywhere. Of course, we still have power windows all around, some fantastic under-seat storage, a very usable and easy to read speedo, and overall a very comfortable spot to be inside of the Maverick XL. At the price point that the Maverick is at, they did nail the interior inside of this thing. There is nothing that I usually get in here, and it's just comfortable. It's comfortable, it's easy to drive, it's easy to do everything in. Everything always seems to work, except I have had a lot of issues with the infotainment freezing up, which you just do a hard reset that takes about 3 minutes, not a big deal. But overall, the interior of the XL is a pretty nice spot to be, but it doesn't feel special by any means. There isn't anything that kind of blows you away. It's just a vehicle that gets you where you need to go, but it's a really great new vehicle. It's got a pretty good sound system. It's pretty easy to drive, like I said. All of the infotainment usually works pretty good. It's got a decent amount of selectable drive modes that work quite well. But as we move into the Lariat, which my dad is in over here, we just kind of take things up to another level, but not that much higher of a level, because there's still a lot of very similar things. For example, we have a door panel that's almost identical. We have a dashboard that's almost identical. We have like all of the sills and everything that are almost identical in a $10,000 price gap. Yes, we do get some bronze accents here and there. We do now get a lot of, again, tech upgrades like on the exterior. Just a lot of technology upgrades, which are huge. They're a big deal. But overall, we are getting Active X, which is like Ford's leather, basically. It's actually pretty nice. So here's something that's kind of cool about it, actually. I've got this camera bag that I throw on the back seat every day when I get off work. And it leaves these dents or indents in the seat, which drives me absolutely insane. However, every time I've done that and I've come back out to the car the next day, it's gone. It looks brand new again. So that's been bugging me, but it just keeps like self-healing itself. So every little dent or nook that gets into this leather, it seems to self-heal, which is kind of cool. So I don't know if it's like a memory foam under there, but there's still some things I'm not a fan of in my Lariat versus my XL. For example, the power driver's seat, I can't sit down as low to the ground as I can in my power or my manual seat in my XL. I'd assume that's because of the motor, it just doesn't go down as low, but it gives you more of an upwards or truck-like feel, which the majority of owners are going to enjoy, unlike me who likes to sit down as low as possible anyway. But a huge upgrade is we do have manual controls over on the passenger seat for up and down, because we are stuck up in the air on the XL. But overall, I would say the main majority of upgrades on the interior are you get some bronze accents, you get some Active X, and you get a bunch of tech.
Austin summed that up pretty well. Like, that's really about it. Even looking at the roof in your sunglass holder, it's the exact same vehicle, exact same material. So $10,000, what do you really get? There are some items that add to some capability. We have the 4K tow package, but you can get that on an XL, can you not?
Yes, you can, yeah.
Right, so, and you can get all-wheel drive on an XL, so we got to take that out of the equation. So what are you really getting with the Lariat? And I think it comes down to tech.
It does, but there is some stuff in here that it's just like, seriously, Ford, why didn't you give us this in an XL? For example, if we fold these guys down, we now have lights for our visor. Like, you know how cheap that looks? In a vehicle, it's 10 grand more. Like, do you know how many cents this must cost Ford to install in their vehicles to have lights for our mirror visors? We don't get that in the XL.
If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense.
Yeah, exactly. So there is just a few little things that it's just like, come on, Ford, really? We should have gotten that in the base model, and you're giving it to us at a premium cost here in the Lariat. but I'm not going to dismiss the fact that the Lariat's interior is a lot nicer. It feels more special in here. The brown and bronze accents on top of the blue and different like texture on the dash, it does make it feel a bit more special. But I mean, really, we should have, with all this big tech upgrades and all this new tech that we get, we should at least get a bigger screen, but all we get is Sync 3 instead of a fake sync system that you get in the XLT and XL.
So I think what it comes down to here is everything that you are mentioning on the interior, a lot of it you can do with some simple purchases from Amazon, customizing your XL Maverick to make it look unique. When you're talking about interior trim color differences, like obviously when you're you can't put in your fake leather in your XL. You probably can.
No, you can. You can do cat skin leather.
Okay,
so it'll be about $1,000 to $1,500.
But ultimately, this leather, it's not leather at all. It's made from like plastic bottles essentially, and we have a vinyl wrapped steering wheel, which you can put a cover on your XL. So all these items that you're trying to compare the difference to, like you can easily make some modifications to your XL and do it a lot cheaper than $10,000. So we really need to spend a second here just to talk about what those options are, and if for you in your ownership, are they worth it? So all the comfort stuff is kind of, that's a given, right? So your heated steering wheel, your heated seats up front, nothing in the back.
Yeah, and then you also get the power seat, and then you get the manual adjusting passenger seat like I brought up. So that is what you're getting with comfort ultimately. I'm not gonna lie, I still think that the XL and the XLT's cloth seats are probably more comfortable long term, but these do support you a bit more. We do have a lot more bolster on the side.
It's minimal myself.
But it's still comfortable. I actually, now that I'm sitting in it, I almost find the passenger seat more comfortable than the driver's seat. I don't know why, but
could be a thing.
Yeah.
Who knows? Definitely opinion based. But moving on from like the actual comfort stuff, there's one more item. You get dual zone climate control.
Yep.
So there is that. But then a lot of stuff turns over into the safety side of things. So your power mirrors, like Austin mentioned, your blind spot assist, and then all of Ford's safety items such as adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, items like
lane following assist.
Following assist.
Yeah.
So there's those items that some people may view as necessities, and some people, like myself, it's probably a generational thing. Like, I don't want that on my car. I don't want to turn it on. If I ever use it, it's such a small percentage of the time that it doesn't make sense for me.
I'll admit, I use lane follow assist all the time. I had it in my Kia. It is phenomenal. Like, you just touch the wheel every 30 seconds or so, and the thing drives for you practically. It stops, it goes, it'll come all the way to a stop and accelerate just fine, follows the lanes around corners. Like, the thing basically drives itself with you just shaking the wheel here and there, which is amazing on a road trip. Like, I absolutely love it. So stuff like that, I do really enjoy. And I think that should be an option that you can get on the XLT, but you can't. That is a Lariat specific thing. But yeah, I mean, you're getting tech, you're getting the sync system, which isn't a huge upgrade. You're getting a wireless charger, which I will admit.
A push button start.
The push button start, I don't really care about that, but it is nice to have, I'll admit. The wireless charger has been a big deal though, because for example, like I throw my phone up on this magnet that I have on here. Be sure to check out our Amazon accessories video, or we'll go through all of this stuff. But I throw my phone up here, and then, you know, my girlfriend wants to charge her phone too, so she can just throw it down here on the wireless charging pad, which just makes it pretty easy. But yeah,
$1,000 is an expensive phone charging option.
It is. Is it ultimately worth it? Let's figure that out. To ultimately wrap things up, to sum it all up, is it worth a $10,000 price gap? No, it's not.
It's not.
It honestly is not. Why did I buy it then? What is the reason why I decided to spend my hard-earned money to buy something that I don't think is worth it? To make content for you guys. Ultimately, I wanted to do another off-road build. My girlfriend is getting an awesome deal on this. She needed a new car, and ultimately I still think this is going to hold its value pretty well, especially after we put some stuff into it.
Yeah.
So it made sense for me to do, but if it's for a vehicle that, like, you're not me, you're not flipping cars all the time, you're not making YouTube videos and content and having fun with your dad over here, I wouldn't buy it. I honestly wouldn't. But I did it because of the situation that we are in, because of what we enjoy doing with videos here. I thought it made sense. So that is why I bought it. I would get an XLT luxury package and then just throw all the tech on it. It's not worth this much money. The XL is a lot of truck for the money. Don't let anybody dismiss you. This thing is lowered with some wheels on it, a stripe, and some interior stuff. It's an amazing truck for what I have into it, like 25.5 basically. It's a lot of truck for that much money.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah, so. And I agree with Austin 100%. And this is almost any vehicle out there. You will never recoup your options. So if you're someone that buys a vehicle like most normal people and you keep it for 6, 8, 9 years, that's when it makes sense to enjoy those luxury features or those comfort items. But if you're someone who goes through vehicles quickly, or if you're trying to get the most bang for your buck, it will never make sense to buy a bunch of options.
So thank you guys so much for tuning into the video. Like I said, lots of fun videos coming on this Lariat. Super excited. Really super excited. And all of that is going to be coming within the next month. We have a lift kit giveaway coming soon, so be sure to check us out for that. We look forward to seeing you guys soon.